All right, gentlemen, let's get into lesson number 2, percent and estimation. Just like with our last lesson, you're going to want a handy dandy calculator with you so that way we can succeed at our best. All right, today we're going to deal a lot with estimation, specifically with percents. Sometimes the exact answer is not always needed. You can get an approximation. So one way to do it is with a fraction, another is by using the method of 10%, and we'll talk about both of those today. All right, first example. Jody paid 62% of the $500 she owes for her loan. Estimate what 62% of 500 is. Okay, so handy dandy writing pencil. 62 is about 60. I know that 60% is 60 over 100 because I have 60% out of the total 100, which can reduce down to 6 over 10, which can reduce even farther to 3 over 5. So I'm going to take that 3 over 5 times the $500 because I'm trying to find the percentage of 500. Remember, with fractions, we cross multiply. So I get 1,500 over 5. So she is paid $300. Now, it's not too complicated. I want you to try this next one on your own for me. Okay, should get 48. Remember, if you're not actually doing these and you're just writing down the answers and there's no work, there's a reason some of our test scores are looking the way they are. Pointing to you, the person who doesn't take notes, because I know you haven't taken notes because I've watched you not take notes. Take your notes. All right, number 2. Maria and 4 of her friends ordered pizza that cost $14.72. Excuse me. She was responsible for 20% of the bill. How much money does she need to pay? So this is the second method where we do it in terms of 10%. So we're going to take that $14.72 and round it to 15. Make it an even $15, you know, it's close enough. Then I'm going to take 10% of that 15. Oops. I need to hit my Control Z for a moment. 15, which is equal to, remember with tens, we can just move the decimal place once. So 1.5. And you're like, well, why did you get 10%? Hold on, we'll get there in a second. Well, since I'm looking for 20%, 20% is 10 twice. So I take that 10%, which is 1.5 times 2. 1.5 plus 1.5 is 3 even. So she owes about $3 for her portion of the pizza. All right, part B. Dante plans to put 80% of his paychecks into his savings account and spend the other 20%, which is totally unrealistic, but okay. His paycheck this week was $295, but how much money will he put into his savings account? Only reason I could see this being realistic is if they maybe were a teenager. Even then, I don't think they'd make that much. But besides the point, I very much disagree with this question. Go ahead and figure out what 80% of 295 is. And I'll show you the answer in a moment. He ends up putting $240 into his bank account. Probably asking yourself, well, what happens when I have something that's either greater than 100 or less than 1? Again, we can still do the exact same things. We just have to change it slightly. Sorry, snow day catching up to me. Estimate 122% of 50. So we're going to take that 122 and we're going to round it to 120. And since I have 120%, I do know I have 100% of my money. So I'm going to already have part of it being 50 because that's 100% of what I've given. But then I have 20 more. So So I need to take that, oh, is this a fraction one? Hold on a second. So I need to take that extra 20 and say, okay, what's 10% of 50? Ooh. I talk louder and quicker than I write apparently today. And 10% of that is 5, and I have 120, so I need 2 5s, which is 10. So I take my 100%, which is the 50, that's the total I have already, plus the 20%, which comes from the 10, which we said 10% was 5, and 50 plus 10 gives me 60. So 122% of 50 is about 60. All right, we're going to do C together, and then you're going to do D and E on your own. So 174, I'd say that's about 170. So that's 100% plus 70 more, right? We can do simple math like that. Ooh, can you almost on my face? So I need to deal with 10% of 200, which is equal to 20. And then I need to take that 20, because that's only 10, I need to get 70, times 7, which gives me 140. So I take that 100%, or in this case, 100% of my 200, which is 200. 200 plus 140, which is 340. So 340 is about 174% of 200. All right, go ahead and do D and E. You should get 135, and you should get 280. Okay, this one is going to be used kind of primarily both fractions and the 10% thing. Let's go with it. All right, there are 789 seventh graders at Washington Middle School. About a fourth of the percent, not a fourth of the population, but 1/4 of 1%. So like if you have $1, I'm talking about a quarter here, of the seventh grade students have traveled overseas. What is the approximate number of seventh graders who have traveled overseas? So we're going to go ahead and round that to about 800 students. And in order to find a part of a fraction, in order to find part of a percentage, in this case 1%, we need to find at least what 1% is, because if I can find 1%, I can take that 1% and divide it by 4. So I need to take that times 1%, which is 0.01, which gives me 8. And of those 8, only 1/4 of them went overseas. So we multiply our fractions, which gives me 8 over 4. And then 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. So about 2 students. Oops. No, back, undo. All right, computer screen. Hey, there we go. So about 2 students have gone overseas. All right, try this one on your own. All right, about 3 students. All right, gentlemen, that's all I have for you this evening. I will see you later.